Ow, my fucking hair. My hair just got stuck in my rings. Oh yeah, I got new rings. I want to show you guys my new rings because I told you I was going to buy more jewelry. I have this ring. It's from Spencer's. I have to put it on this hand because that's doing way too much. I got this one. It's a little bow. Really cute. This is also from Spencer's. These two came in like a pack. I showed you this last ring, the bottom one, and then the top one I thrifted like a few months ago, but I forgot about it, and I just recently found it, so I'm wearing it again. I've been buying a lot of shit. I think my dopamine is like very low, so I'm just buying stuff to feel better, and it's working, so I'm gonna keep doing that. Hi guys. I said I was gonna come back with a video talking about whatever in bed. So this is me in bed, part 2, talking about anxiety this time. Also, wait, I want to show you my bracelet too. I told you that I was on my jewelry shit, and I am. Look at this bracelet. I have like a box of jewelry, and I found this. I'm wearing it inside out. Let me show you. I'm wearing it inside out, so it looks silver, but like it's supposed to be like black like that, but it kind of looks like spiders when I wear it like that, and it freaks me out. So I flipped it, and now it's just silver. Anyway, not important to the video at all. Yeah, we're in bed again, and we're gonna hang out, and we're gonna talk about mental health. My last one was very important to me, but this one takes a whole new meaning because if anyone knows shit about anxiety, it's me. So yeah, Puss is also here. If you guys don't know Puss, I'll insert some pictures of Puss. He's sitting right next to me. I'll try and show you. Yeah, Puss is here too, just in case you guys were wondering. I also have my notebook for this video. Again, I had this in my last one. This is how you know I put thought into the video. If I'm writing shit down, it's gonna be a very thought out video. So I also just got this shirt, and it reminds me of Lana. I'm pretty sure Lana wore it, so I'm very happy about this purchase, and I did spend way too much money on it, but I don't want to talk about it, so I think the background noises in my videos is just like something that has to happen because I don't think there's a single video on my channel where there isn't background noise. Like a staple. Internet Sad Girl, staple. Alyssa Carmella, staple. Background noise will be included in the video. I have all of my notes for today's video in here. We're talking about anxiety. I think I already said that. Me and anxiety used to be like this, and I say used to be because I don't claim her anymore, so we're not gonna put that out into the world, but we used to be very close, and I used to know her all too well. I think I really learned how to manage it, so I hope I can give you some good advice in this if you're struggling. Trigger warning maybe for this video. I don't think I'm gonna say anything crazy. If you clicked on the video, you kind of know what to expect, but just kind of a general trigger warning if you don't want to hear about anxiety. I know I used to be like that. I couldn't talk about it, hear it. It would make me very nervous. I also have like a anxious, nervous tic where I'm always like grabbing my neck, or if I'm like this, you know what I mean? I used to struggle very badly, so if you can't watch this video or don't want to watch this video, if it's going to trigger you, I completely get it. I was like that like a few months ago. Okay, actually getting into the video though, I wanted to talk a little bit about my anxiety. Who was texting me? It's my mom. I wanted to talk a little bit about my anxiety first and then kind of broaden it out. Make these videos for the relatability factor. If you don't really have a lot of friends or feel like what you're going through isn't normal, which I felt a lot because I was very isolated during this time. Hopefully you can watch this and be like, oh, like I'm not a fucking freak, you know? So don't take anything I take too serious. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a 20-year-old girl who has also experienced a lot of anxiety. I'm sorry if I'm fidgety, okay? I don't like my hair right now, and like these rings are like very overstimulating, but they're fun to play with. So my jewelry has been my new, like, fidget, if you couldn't tell. Okay, for me personally, I've always had anxiety. I think it really started when I was like 6, maybe younger. I'm not really good at pinpointing the age, but I think I was like 6. I think it really started when everyone started going to school. I did not like having to leave my mom. I didn't like having to get dressed and go to school and see new people. I was terrified of what the other people there were going to think of me. I remember being very little, trying to straighten my hair, which my hair was straight and like blonde at the time. I did not need to be straightening it, but I was just always very worried about my appearance, and I was also getting dress coded a lot from a very young age, so I think what I wore was also a big trigger for anxiety for me. And a lot of it was school-related anxiety, at least that's what I remember it starting. I remember feeling very sick and very like nauseous before school, like begging my mom, please don't let me go to school, don't make me go to school. And I'll talk more about school later on in the video whenever we get to like high school and stuff, because I really struggled basically in all of my school years, but it started off like that. The school anxiety only got worse in middle school. I say this a lot, but I don't really ever elaborate because the stories are just not good stories. You don't want to hear about me in middle school. I just wasn't a good kid in middle school. I was getting into trouble a lot. And when I say getting into trouble a lot, I mean like actual trouble. There was times where the cops were at school and I was supposed to like go to court. Like I was just like on a new level of getting in trouble. It wasn't just like fun like middle school being bad. It was like kind of severe trouble that I was getting myself into. I would have a lot of anxiety about the thing that I did, and then going to school and being like called to the principals, cops, things like that, which isn't probably a very normal or relatable thing, but I'm being honest. Looking back, I don't really know why or what I was up to that was causing me to be in this much trouble. I mean, I remember like certain things that I was definitely like, okay, babe, maybe that's illegal. Maybe we shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, I don't know what any of that was about. I wanted to talk a bit about smoking weed and my first panic attack because they kind of coincide together. I got my first panic attack the first time that I smoked weed, which I was like 12, I want to say. And I was fine for like a few hours, went to sleep, woke up, and tweaked out. I just remember freaking out, going into my mom's room. I felt like very heavy, like heaviness, like pressure on my chest. Not a great feeling, don't recommend. And that was my first experience with like a panic attack. I've always had this like underlying anxiety, but this was like a whole new level of discomfort. I think weed kind of triggered it for me. And then I did start smoking weed again, but it never freaked me out again after that, or at least for a while. Another core memory that I have with my anxiety is I left school multiple times, but the first time that I left school, I was in 7th grade. I was terrified to even walk into school. I was also getting like semi-bullied at the time. I didn't have really any friends in 7th grade, and it was just a not good year for me. I was extremely anxious, could not walk into school, basically forced my mom into letting me do online school. That was my first occurrence with leaving school due to my crippling anxiety. I also left school sophomore year of high school. This time, I don't really think I was very anxious. I just didn't want to be there. The next sort of core memory that I have being anxious is turning 18. Now, this is a core memory for me, and I don't know if anyone else has ever experienced this. I put a lot of pressure on turning 18 and being an adult, and I thought I had to have my whole life sort of figured out and a job, and I basically just thought that I was very underprepared to be turning 18, but I felt all of this pressure on me Leaving, like graduating high school, I felt a lot of pressure from. I'm gonna sneeze. Fuck. Jesus. Yeah, I remember basically freaking out when I turned 18. And from 18 until, I want to say still, but I've definitely got it under control. But once I turned 18, anxiety kind of took a whole new meaning for me. From what I've experienced, it was definitely bad in the past, but once I turned 18, it was a whole new level of bad. Just like, it became very crippling and very horrible and like unmanageable. I couldn't work. I couldn't go out. Talking to people on the phone would give me extreme anxiety. I was not doing well. My cure for that, or my decision of how I was going to fix that, was I called my old therapist and I was like, hey, I really need an appointment with you. She was not really a good therapist. That's a whole nother story. But I was like, hey, I really need an appointment. We did an online appointment because I physically couldn't get myself to go out. She ended up prescribing me Wellbutrin, which I'm pretty sure is like an antidepressant. And I've told her multiple times, like, I wasn't really depressed at the time. I didn't need an antidepressant, and she knew this, so I don't know why she prescribed me this. Wellbutrin made me crash out so bad. If you've never taken Wellbutrin, I think it's like a stimulant, like it's an antidepressant. So antidepressants are like serotonin or dopamine. I don't know, I'm an idiot. Please don't listen to what I'm saying like it's fact. I really don't know. It basically gave me a lot of energy, which worsened my anxiety. It also made me like crippled, like paralyzed. I was in bed for 2 days straight. Whatever it did to me freaked me out so bad that my eyes had like a shake to them. I was basically asleep for like 2 days. That medicine is what I attribute to me quitting nicotine the first time. I just physically couldn't hit it for like 2 days, so it got me off nicotine for like a year, which was great, but that wasn't the goal, you know? Like, it really, really worsened my anxiety for a long time. It took me months to recover from that. Like, the days leading on after that, I was a mess. I completely stopped eating for months. I was down to a very low weight. And at this time, I was so isolated. This was before I graduated high school, so I turned 18 in December. I think I took the medicine in like February, something like that. So this was like right before, I think this was right before I like graduated, a few months before I graduated. I remember I went to New York to take senior pictures, had a panic attack in New York. It's always like a roller coaster for me. I really don't know. It comes in waves. It makes me sound crazy, but it really does. A lot of the time, it's worse like in the winter. I'm pretty fine in the summertime. It's still always there, but I think the winter time it gets really bad. I had a really dysregulated nervous system. I was in like constant fight or flight for probably 2 years. It also really fucks with your like body. You can start to get physical symptoms is what I'm trying to say. And boy was I getting physical symptoms. I not only losing a lot of weight like that, like not being able to eat, I had a real like fear of food. Anytime I would eat, I would convince myself that I was going to be sick, and like food just really scared me for months. I was very skinny for a while. My hair was falling out from not eating and being chronically stressed. I'll be having like heart palpitations or chest pain from anxiety. I will freak myself out and be like, oh, my lung is collapsing. And I've done this like 3 times in the past probably 2 years, maybe a year and a half. Was constantly at the hospital. I developed a lot of health anxiety due to that. I got really happy for a while, so I think my new happy brain was like, wait, I don't want to die. So I got very scared of like death. I got very bad health anxiety. yeah, I was not doing well for a while. I still struggle with this, but living in fear is another thing. I was kind of taught at a very young age to always be kind of fearful. Yeah, I was just fear-mongered a lot, and I believed it because I was a child, and when older people in your life are telling you that you should be scared, you kind of take that and, like, believe it. If you've ever been, like, fear-mongered or told not to do something because of fear, you would kind of understand what I'm talking about. I still struggle with anxiety every day. It's not as debilitating, knock on wood. I'm hoping it stays that way because it's been actual hell for me for like 2 years. So up until very recently, I was dealing with this, and it's fucking scary. I have a mom who's very supportive of me and understands anxiety. If you have a parent that doesn't really understand what you're going through, that can be terrifying, and I feel for you, which is, again, I hope you can find this video and relate to it and realize that what you're going through is normal and you're okay and you're fine. A lot of anxiety is all mental, and it's all a mental game, and you just have to, like, play that game and hope you win. No one likes to play the game. It's not a fun game to play. I would like to tell you some advice. Take it if it relates to you. You don't have to take my advice, but if I'm making these videos, I would like to, like, end it off on kind of a positive, or at least just tell you my thoughts and, like, how to help maybe. I'm still struggling with it, so these are just some things that I've found comfort in that have helped me. The first thing that I wanted to say is getting help is fine. You're allowed to get help. I think that's a very talked about thing, though. I think, you know, if you're on the internet, you know getting help is great, and you can do that, and it works for a lot of people. Meds are also great if that works for you. Personally, I'm kind of scared to try new meds because of bad experiences, but if meds work for you, there's, like, no shame at all in taking meds, and if anything, literally more power to you. I wish they could work for me, but I haven't found really anything that works for me. This one is such a cliche one, and I hate that I'm even saying it, because when you're going through it, hearing, like, oh, time heals all is so just, like, obnoxious, you know? Like, yeah, sure, time heals all, but, like, I'm struggling right now. I need, like, a fix right now. I get that feeling. Like, for me, for a really long time, it got really dark, and I felt like I was just struggling for, like, 2 years straight, and I was like, when is this gonna get better? So I know what that feels like. And it honestly just recently started getting a lot better. But time really does heal, especially when you're kind of facing these imaginary fears, if they're imaginary. Trying shit to prove to yourself that it's not that scary and you're okay. That's what I did. If you have a friend that can try things with you to make it less scary, that's a plus too. A lot of anxiety is all a mental game, and you're gonna get through it. You're gonna be fine. A lot of people deal with it. You're not the only one. I wish I can give you better advice, but this is just my advice as a 20-year-old girl who's still struggling with it. This is the best advice that I can give you. I don't really make these to throw advice at you. If anything, I'm just trying to make these so that you feel less alone. If you relate, I'm sorry, honestly, if you relate, like, that's probably not a great thing, but yeah, that's really all I have to say for this video. These are some of my favorite videos to film, and they seem to be received very well, which I appreciate more than anything because these videos mean a lot to me. I like talking about this type of stuff, so I really appreciate any kind words in the comments, or even if you guys relate in the comments and you want to share similar stories, I fuck with that too. If you're going through it, I love you, and literally DM me. I said it in my last video. You can write in the comments or you can DM me, whatever. I love hearing other people's stories, and I would love to talk. I would love to talk with you if you feel maybe alone or like you're going through this alone. Okay, that's all I have to say. I love you if you made it this far in this video. I don't know if it's kind of a long video or not, but If you made it this far, I love you. Yeah, subscribe if you want to. I've never really said that in a video, but like if you want to subscribe and like and comment, that would be sick. I appreciate everyone that's watching. Bye. Love you. Let's say bye. Bye for real.